Hello and welcome back. Today, by the title you can see, today we're going to be doing What If the Japanese Empire Came Back? And I have no idea how this is going to happen, or what's going to happen, how they're going to come back. I'm just going to go ahead and just do it, I guess. Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and start by, obviously, a revolution against the normal Japanese government. Let's just say, Hiroshima, not here, no, old Japanese imperialist people. No, not like old, pretty much old Japanese people, and are like, I don't know how it's gonna start. Let's say like a revolution happens where they want to be Japanese empire again. Okay, yeah, that's what's gonna happen. So immediately rises starts America being America by sending like billions and billions of dollars worth of equipment, which is also deteriorating their economy as they're also sending billions and billions of dollars of equipment to Ukraine, which that ain't good, is it? So over here, then the revolution starts in this island, and also does start here, here, and here. With this, they do continue on, and they cut Japan in half. Through here, they start pushing ahead in the islands, and I think the Tokyo's like right there somewhere. I don't know where Tokyo is, but it doesn't really matter. I'm just gonna say it's like right there. They push towards Tokyo, but they do lose at first, being pushed back quite a lot, even over here. But they do go back for round 2, this time with more fronts, and they do win. And that's an insanely weakening part for Tokyo, as Tokyo is one of Japan's largest cities, and also one of the largest cities in the world. Being giant. I'm pretty sure it is the largest in population. I think around that, I forgot. But, yeah. Japan, continuing to lose, do surrender, and the entirety of Japan is now put under the imperialist government, or monarchy government, because Japan was an empire. So they are going to do pretty good, and they're going to go ahead and invade. China tried making allies with them, but as we know from World War II and early World War I, or no, late World War I, Japan and China, China was quite the vital part of Japan in land terms, so they're gonna invade them too, and they're gonna also invade, well, a lot, basically, yeah, a lot. Besides Thailand, because Thailand is going to immediately join the alliance with them, as well. We remember. If you guys actually knew history, I hope you do. Thailand was a part of the Axis powers right as Japan did invade them, like 5 hours short, I think. And then Thailand just joined the Axis. But they're gonna stay neutral, and they're gonna just try building a friendship with them again. The Japanese armies enter South Korea pretty easily, and they spearhead through the middle, and South Korea, being caught off guard, is gonna be almost taken over completely. But a lot of, the whole population of them are basically in the army, so their army starts scaling up into the millions. So they do slowly push back until Japan launches a naval invasion here, and just overall, yeah, they're dead. And another thing, if they have too much army, you're gonna need a lot of equipment. Now, when I say a lot, you're gonna need thousands of guns. Imagine the amount of guns you're gonna need to make. America doesn't need to have that problem, as they have more guns than people. So, over 300, like 25 million. Quite a lot of guns. And after invading North Korea, without even saying it, you guys should have saw. Yeah, North Korea does surrender, and the people are introduced to a better kind of freedom, as this is not the Freedom Japan anymore. This is the Freedom Haters Japan. They're introduced because I mean Japan did not just lose all their technology. They're still a thriving country, so they do have some decent freedom. I'm not gonna make them as evil as what they did in World War II, the amount of war crime they committed, but I got my throat. But they're still gonna be kind of evil. But yeah, I'd say tiny itty bitty bit better than Russia. But yeah. Over here, Russia, wanting to support their allies, starts sending a lot of military in. But, Ukraine's not going to be involved as Japan's not going to travel all the way through Oceania and Asia, all the way through Africa, and just through here where USA is likely already going to notice, hey, Japan's trying to reach here. And then they're going to go through the Mediterranean Sea, go through this tiny little plot, then reach Myanmar. So, yeah. Japan making it quite far into China already. They make some naval invasions, which one in Beijing, which is gonna be an absolute bloody battle, as Beijing, a huge city of China. And yeah, Japan does actually manage to lose this somehow. And that battle, probably like around 3 million deaths, as both armies have like probably tens of millions of troops in it now. Japan still does have a nice foothold there as they start making their way towards the second battle of Beijing. But so far this is still a Japan winning Japan. And next up, they enter here, I forget what it's called. And it looks like a part of Beijing too. And yeah, this is really early stage of Japan, so not gonna be huge stage of Japan. But they have a goal. First off, they're gonna try capturing all of Manchuria and capture Beijing. And then they're gonna start going for here, which they already gonna go for. As Japan does start sending some army down, capturing this this island, and lands in some more populated areas of China. Or not, they start landing in, yeah, more populated lands. But, yeah, they continue down here, and, yeah. Japan, so far, looking real Japan-y. Yeah, looking real Japan-y, really Japan-y. They do start sending tons of army down, while China is immediately starting to send tons of military down and starts bombing the living hell out of the Japanese army over here, which causes a lot of weakening, and the Japanese front over here is going to be shrunken down, and suddenly are this little strip will look like this. They do make some pushbacks, but that's basically going to be it. Just going to be like a stalemate here. Over back in Manchuria, I'm pretty sure it's called. They do go back to Beijing in hopes of beating it. China, already having this well defended, does defeat them again in another bloody battle. So instead they just try focusing on capturing Manchuria, which is quite a large plot of land. Encircling this and pushing this back. Now they have a nice clean border with Manchuria. But China does kick him out of, start pushing back, and just completely kick him out of Beijing. Well, I forgot if this is part of Beijing. I know Beijing's like over here. for here. I think that's really close. I don't know. I'm gonna say it's not. The Japanese do start expanding here, while also going towards Manchuria. China does lose this part as it is encircled and not much troops were there, and the troops there do surrender over. Japan doing exceptional. I think they're already close. No, they're not. They're not as big as Kazakhstan. Nowhere near, but they will be soon. Don't worry. And they do expand more for here, and now they go back for another round against Beijing. This time, though, they completely capture all the coast of Beijing, and they start pushing all over the front, even trying to completely encircle it, which does fail. But the Japanese are closing in more and more on Beijing. And does finally win the battle, fully capturing the capital and a huge city. Now that was a giant blow to the Chinese economy, but also their USA probably went down to second place as China, still having a better economy, and USA probably spent already $1 trillion trying to protect or get rid of what's it called again? Japan. Knowing USA full well, they were. I think. Hold on. I'll look up how much money did they spend in Ukraine. How much money has the USA? Ukraine. More than $75 billion. Wow. That's more. So probably like around 80 billion to be exact, or like around that. And now that, I mean, it may seem small to America as their economy is, well, like quite big, like 19 or 25 trillion right now, but that still does do a lot of damage. And even though they're the richest in the world, I mean, there is a lot of poverty in our country, so that just proves to show that we spend a lot of it on not really good things, or not really things actually helping our population at least. But yeah, China, if you're paying attention to the thing instead of me speaking, did almost cut off Manchuria, but they are pushed back. They got these nice looking borders. They look actually decent. Japan's starting to push down more into the coast, and does capture a bit more of this. So far, though, what else? Yeah, this could be turning a stalemate for now as the Chinese army, I know. Yeah, this is a little. The Chinese army is starting to get a bit better and a little bit less corrupt, hopefully. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that. Even though that is completely unrealistic and the Chinese army will be more corrupt, likely. Yeah, they're gonna do some decent pushbacks, and yeah. The Chinese army does spearhead through cutting these two fronts off, and they start pushing towards to reclaim Beijing, and which they do border, and they start fighting, but the Japanese do manage to keep their foothold in Beijing, pushing the Chinese back and meeting up with the front, or this other front that the Chinese just cut off again, and pushing the Chinese army a lot back towards northern Manchuria. Next up, though, the Japanese do what the Chinese really wanted to do. And yeah, the Chinese, getting a little angry at them as they conquered Taiwan, do start sending tons of Navy fleets and make a couple landings in Taiwan. Which by couple I mean a lot. But the Japanese, being quite fierce, having quite the fierce military, maybe not as fierce as in World War II, but quite fierce still, do claim the victory no matter what. And after this victory, they start to focus more down south of Oceania and like parts of Indonesia and Asia. Excuse me. And yeah, just gonna get all of this. Alright. Don't mind me, I'm just trying to color in every single island. And they do also declare war in Australia. And they have to fight the kangaroos now. I don't know if they can win, if the Australians couldn't do it. I don't know if the Japanese could, because, I mean, Australia, there's giant spiders. Japan don't have giant spiders. They have just not giant spiders. They have giant anime characters. And giant Godzilla. But not giant spiders. After they declare war also on Philippines. The Philippines, oh god, the USA is gonna spend tons of money on the Philippines. Like, come on, man, we all know. First off, right as Japan makes a single movement of their navy towards here, the USA does declare war on Japan. And this is just really bad. The USA immediately does start conquering these islands that Japan just took over without me saying it. And they do make it close, but Japan does manage to defeat them. And Japan does establish a little kind of naval blockade, or like you said, maybe a big navy fleet over here. And they start just destroying as much USA equipment as possible. Hold on, let me just, yeah. The USA still having the best navy in the world, but they are going. But the Japanese is catching up as well. The Japanese were a lot about navy in World War II. The Navy do start to try and flank the USA, but the USA does flanking them on the other side. So the Japanese, instead of attempting to flank, just go ahead and just go straight front. And more layers of warships do arrive, and this is kind of like just a little kind of sea battle stalemate, you know. So far, though, over in China, they have made some tiny advancements, but not really tiny here, as they do expand through over in China, and they are getting really close to meeting up here. If they do, that's not a good sign. And Japan does also make some more little movements. Trying to push down over here. And yeah. Japan are making a goal set from this front to try and reach at least a tiny bit of Tibet. And they believe that will make China surrender, which by the time they even get close to Tibet, they're likely going to surrender. But you don't know that. You don't know that. You don't know that. Yeah. Japan does launch their final movement that does encircle them, and it also splits them up and also encircles this little portion. Trying to make extra realistic borders. over here, they do continue their way down. And, well, China, I'm not doing too good right now. Yeah, Japan so far shredding everything. Over here, they do finally cut off Manchuria from the rest of China and set their goal, or complete their goal by fully capturing all of Manchuria. And now, with all the tons of army they had over here, they can finally start moving that ton of army some other places, including down here. They sent a lot of that army down in the Philippines, and the Japanese do expand their naval fortress area, or whatever you call it, or like naval, pretty much. I forgot, like defensive line, like water defensive line. I don't know if that's a thing, but it's gonna be in this video. They do start expanding it to hopefully defend the USA. But the USA does start sending some of their naval over here. And, well, yeah, it's just a huge naval battle. Some of the deadliest. Ouch. Over here in the Philippines, the war does not stop, and the war does not really go good for the Philippines. The Philippine army is pretty decent still, but they're not as good as Japanese army, especially when they're in a video that's all about Japan and they're completely overbuffed and they're overpowered. So yeah, very cool. Also to mention, these videos are supposed to be not realistic, as I know Russia would not be able to get Alaska. Actually, they probably could. The USA could just send a bunch of army here, so yeah, I know Russia could not get Alaska from the USA. You have to say that. I just keep forgetting to make this clear. These videos are unrealistic. But, yeah, so cool. The Japanese do kind of make a little push in, and they start to just try outflanking everything, which the USA immediately does put a stop to, and circle all these fleets over here, capturing them. And those fleets, well, it's quite hard to get a lot of like naval equipment, so that's gonna be quite the loss for Japan and quite the nice pushback for America. But Japan does go for another flank again, in which they do win, but America just stopped it early. And that's so far it. They start going down more and more islands of Philippines until eventually Philippines does surrender and they are fully annexed. And next up, their next target, Malaysia, Indonesia, and I forgot what it's called. I know that's Malaysia, right? Oh, Singapore. No, Singapore, Malaysia, and Indonesia. They declare war on those. I think this is Singapore right here. And isn't that Singapore too? I don't know. We're gonna say it is for that video. Immediately, they make enterings throughout. Malaysia. Well, mainly not throughout Malaysia, just in one island of Malaysia, which is the main island. And they do continue their way through, cutting this large portion off, and fully capturing it. America is angered by this, and they try sending more equipment over, but that causes Japan to stretch out their navy fleets all the way over here, and America having some over here. Yeah, Japan probably having the best economy in the world by now, as their economy likely being 10 trillion now at this timeline, plus China's economy of likely a lot of trillion, which they captured a lot of the major cities. So I'd say they'd have the biggest one. So, and they're spending a lot of the war, or like military funds in Navy so they can actually defend against America. Because if they don't, America is going to break through, and America is going to do what Americans do. And I'm pretty surprised they haven't thrown a destruction ball at Japan yet. But Japan now does have some destruction balls they can throw at America. Well, they don't have as much destruction balls, but their destruction balls are pretty destruction-y and ball-y, so they should still work. The Chinese front, they started to expand, but China, now having major support from even India, and, well, even America starts sending support from over here to China, which causes Japan to get a little angry as they can't really send much navy throughout here. They'd have to take over that little thing. But also, well, USA is kind of struggling. The only way they can is through here, India. But Japan is already starting to really focus on Indonesia so they can stop the Chinese from getting too much support, as they are already getting support, but trying not to let them get too much. Malaysia is starting to lose a lot. They do surrender and are fully annexed. Singapore does surrender too, as they've lost their biggest other part of land. And yeah, this is looking real nice. And when I said they're supposed to invade Indonesia, I'm going to go and just put the borders out. It's going to look like this so far of what they've done. In fact, now they just captured this whole island, plus a couple more, including that. And no, that, yeah. Quite small islands, small enough to where they're not going to make a difference. But they are going to make a decent amount of difference. And, oh my god, alright. Yeah, they've captured a lot of Indonesia, and they're not going to stop from there. As they do invade here, and, not that good. Not too good. It's not good at all. The Japanese Empire, trying to go for at least top 10 largest in the planet, which they are going to plan to do that by probably invading Australia and maybe even invading Russia in part 2. Possibly, just possibly. Probably not, but possibly. Over here then China, they do start expanding a tiny bit in the top areas, but China does make a huge pushback here and are risking returning the cutoff. But Japan starts rushing military over, and they do hold that stable right there. And Japan does start continuing their fronts over here and fully capturing this, a nice chunk of China, which is now a nice chunk of Japan. And whoopsie daisies. Over here in China, they start their expansion. They start their expansion by trying, or they start their Tibet conquest by not really trying. Never mind. I don't know what I was even trying to say. Okay, they're trying. Okay, Japan now is trying to start a conquest more kind of northern China. It is going quite successful, but so far we're gonna go back over here where the Japan has managed to hold off the front, even cutting this off and capturing that little island, which we're just gonna make that Japanese island now, and we're just gonna fully cut that in. Yeah. And so far though, America does continue their little front over here, where they have kind of like a battle-free zone. ish. Well, they try making a boundary zone, but Japan takes a little like advantage, and they start scrambling through. But America does start their nice little pushback. And America even about to break the front, reaching extra close to mainland Japan. Japan does thicken it up, and they start mainly focusing over here, which does cause the USA to start expanding down here. But it is back turned into a front, or a stalemate. Over here, continue their way down. And the US is looking really cool. Over Indonesia, they do continue and start making it more down in their biggest island. Which, well, Indonesia's still having one of the 13th strongest military. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Yeah, they're still gonna be doing pretty well. And eventually, after Japan does make another landing in their second biggest island, Indonesia does surrender over and are fully annexed. And this is now coming to life. The Japan is starting to get more of what Japan looks like. They're just missing a lot of the Vietnam, Laos, not Thailand, but Myanmar. And which we're gonna go ahead and start at now. But Nana Boo Boo, no, we're not, as the video is gonna end here. And that is going to be a goodbye. I will try posting it part 2 today, probably after I clean my room. But that was it. I hope you enjoyed, and goodbye. Have a great day, and like and subscribe.